bar's got that swing. Glasses clink, hear the ice cubes sing. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for a day. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Salute and welcome. Happy Monday, or at least I hope you're having a happy Monday. Mondays can be challenging, so I hope it's a good one, and if it's not, well, maybe we can make it just a little bit better. At least that's the goal, right? I want to start out by saying hi to all of y'all in the chat, starting with the first person that I saw comment, inflation means greed. Breaking news, Fantastic Four reeled in $118 million in its opening week box office. We're going to get into that. That may not be the flex that you may think it is. Have a great show, my friends. Thank you so much, Big Al of Big Al Presents. Netter of Netters Network, with whom I'm going to be celebrating an anniversary this week, calls me the love of her life after 33 years. I certainly hope so. And she asks all of you to like, share, subscribe, become a member, and leave a comment, perhaps as an anniversary gift to us. Very much would appreciate that. Mechpo! Here I are. Another day, another Darsek. And I said, you actually make that much, Mark Malnikoff? Connie says, hail to the chat. And of course, hail to you as well. The bird woman of YouTube. Fluff Chick Productions. Why am I bringing up my own comments? I don't know. Let's see here. Jonathan Conroy says, hail and smash the like button and enjoy the show. Yes, thank you so much, Jonathan Conroy. I super appreciate it. So, about the new Avatar trailer. Didn't see it. Not my bag. I think that some people are wasting their time on that they could be working on another Another film that is in desperate need of a sequel, in my opinion. I'm getting tired of the blue-skinned alien people retelling the same story over and over and over again. Let's see. And Chavan to Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Good to see you, my friend. Where are all the white women at? Yes. Great movie. Great movie. Thanks for being here, Tim. Good to see you. After seeing the Star Trek Academy trailer, I want to puke. Well, it's kind of funny that it seems like somehow in the future, after we've overcome, so many of Earth's, problems, and we've done away with illness, and we've done away with poverty, somehow we have a sudden pandemic of obesity all over again. I'd like to know how that happens. So, I should avoid the Avatar Fire trailer and Star Trek Academy trailer right after having lunch, correct? Yes. That would be a wise thing. Yes, don't go into those with a stomach that can be unsettled in a not pleasant way. Tim says, you need to do a watch party after Blake 7, some classic Doctor Who episodes. Yes, I've been thinking about that. Some people are pushing for Red Dwarf. I don't know. I'm still up in the air about where I'm going to go after that. Let's see. I'm from the future, so it's Tuesday for me. Well, happy Tuesday to you. Happy Tuesday. Hey, if you could share those, Chicago area lottery numbers, I'll split the numbers with you. Hey, Wilkie's Movies and Music, wonderful channel. Make sure you are subscribed for all the info and reviews on, movies and music. Great channel. Definitely want to check him out. Waiting for car repairs, so not a happy Monday. Replacing power steering lines. I bet that's going to cost some serious dollars. Yes. I hear you, my friend. I understand the challenges. I'm going to have to be replacing my tires come September or so. At least that's the plan. I'm off work till next Monday. I don't know if you mean that God or that good, but either way, I'm with you. Guilty Pleasure. Just watched 2 Mr. Moto films starring Peter Lorre. I know they're not PC. Those are probably the best films to watch then. But still entertaining when you accept their creation from a specific time. You know what? I mean, yes, you do have to take into account every movie and the time it was made in, because it is a bit of a historical lesson. But I think people need to need to grow thicker skins. They really, really do. Let's see. Saying hi to each other. I appreciate that. I wonder what sequel that could be. Yes. Smiles like Alita. Exactly right. We're well past due. They're just going to keep churning out all these Marvel films, and maybe that's the blessing, right? Maybe it's better that we don't get all of these, that we don't get a sequel to Alita, because they'll just give it the Marvel treatment, right? Which is exactly what we don't want. I am the 13th child. Welcome, Nate. Good to see you. Can you see me? Yes, I can see you. Can you see me? Can you see and hear me? I'm assuming that you can. Otherwise, someone would have been saying something about the sound. Another reason to be unhappy on a Monday, our own Governor Cheeseburger is going to sign, and it's going to be overturned by the by SCOTUS. Someone's going to have to slap down these states that, keep thinking that state law can somehow trump the federal constitution. I don't understand it. Lunchtime, sandwich, chips, and an apple. That sounds good. That sounds good. I just had a quick breakfast before the stream. Let's see. And yeah, Charlie Chan films rocked. That's true. That's true. Great history there. Anyway, let's get into it. Let me share my screen. Share my screen. There we go. No, I don't want to share that. I want to share this. We'll do that. Don't need the sound. Share. Bring it up. Yes, I know I'm not sharing my sound. They don't need to hear me twice. That echo would get annoying really, really fast. So anyway, yeah. I go to that park place today because I was kind of thinking a little bit about... oh, wait a minute. Let me get caught up. The detective is meant to be the other. He or she isn't the average person. Has a quirk, oddity to see the mystery through different eyes. Sherlock, Monk. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, I would even say, what was Psych? Psych's another one. Joe's Atmosphere, great channel, great supporter on the social medias too. What's up, Troy? I enjoyed Fantastic Four. I always say they're not making these movies for me. This one was. Yeah, you know, that's just the thing. I'm not here to bash Fantastic Four. I've been hearing a lot of people saying good things about it. The problem is that it is not doing the financial dollars that it should be. And there's a lot of stuff around it that Disney just can't seem to shake off the bottom of its boot. We'll get into that. Let's see here. Oh, and thank you so much, Geek Flag with Nate Knows, for $2. Thank you, my friend. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and become a member. Yes, please do all those things. The Excelsior reminded me so much of the Apollo mission when I was a kid. There you go. There you go. So I just saw this just before we went live. Ex-users slam Simi-Lou for seemingly defending Pedro Pascal amid criticism over Fantastic Four press tour behavior. I'm not going to get too into all of that because the whole thing just creeps me out. I get it. We have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. All we can do is we can observe what we see in the public eye. When they do an appearance, I think we have every right to judge their behavior for ourselves. And when I see this Kirby girl kind of fawning all over Peepaw, and she's engaged and pregnant with another man's child, apparently, this does not look good. See, I was talking with Netter about this the other day, about how I look at the situation with these two actors. And that whole dust-up that came out of Comic-Con where he's, like, running his hand up and down her arm, and she, like, takes his hand down and holds it, like, it seemed like she didn't want to be touched that way, and she figured better to hold his hand than, have it roaming. And then it comes out later, oh, no, that wasn't what it was all about. It was, he does that when he feels uncomfortable, and I was there just giving him, encouragement. I'm not even going to get off on the whole tangent about you're a movie star and you get nervous in front of crowds. Nervous that you have to paw women. Didn't we go through this whole Me Too thing and address these things? No. But it really did seem like just based on nothing. It just implies to me that the studio looked at that and said, oh, this isn't good. hey, you better get out there and stand up for your co-star and make sure that nobody is canceling him, because you want this movie to do good if you want to continue working for us. So then what? They go on a whole media blitz of every interview they're on. She's fawning on him and she's touching him and all this kind of stuff. And, like I said, I was talking to Netter about this, and I'm like, there was a time in Hollywood where if you were a leading man and a leading woman in a movie together, they'd put you out in front of audiences, doing press junkets and telling you, behave like you're a couple, because, that builds the illusion. And they especially did that for leading men who weren't out of the closet, and it's like, we need the women swooning over you, so you get out there with your leading woman, and I don't care what you're doing in the privacy of your own home. You're putting on airs for this show. I feel like that's what this is all about, to be honest with you. It's creepy, it's disgusting. I have absolutely no interest in it. What I am more interested in, though, is... let's get into the numbers a little bit. Again, this comes from that Park Place. This is where I get, 90% of my geek news, because they really do a good job. They've got their finger on the pulse here. Fantastic Four: First Steps seemingly lost to Superman in opening weekend box office comparison, according to Sunday projections. In the ever-competitive world of superhero blockbusters, Marvel's latest entry, The Fantastic Four: First Steps, has reportedly come in short against DC's Superman in their respective opening weekend box office takes, at least according to Sunday projections. Now, why is that important? One thing that's important to understand is that Marvel has everything to lose. And they've got a lot more riding on this movie. Whereas we kind of talked about this a little bit last week, more 2 weeks ago. Superman, if it doesn't pull a profit, if it doesn't even break, I think it's already broken even, to be honest with you. But let's say it didn't break even. That's okay as long as it does well enough, because that's enough for them to jump off from. They have never had a huge success with their shared universe. It didn't take off, pun potentially intended, with the Snyderverse, so there's really nowhere to go but up. That pun was intended. Whereas Marvel's on the decline. They need to pull out of this dive, and they really needed this to be significantly doing better than Superman. While both films represent fresh starts for iconic characters and have been hailed as successes in revitalizing their franchises, the numbers tell a clear story. Superman soared higher both domestically and worldwide, claiming a tight victory in this head-to-head mashup. Directed by Matt Shakman and starring Pedro Pascal, there's another problem that I still have with this. This should have been, what's his name? The dude from The Office. The one that was in Multiverse of Madness. I said this last week. They introduced him as Reed Richards. Had him get spaghettified by Wanda. And all the fans said, "Oh, well, this is great, though, because they're going to bring him back as Reed Richards when they do the Fantastic Four movie." And no, they did not. They basically said, "Look, we know what the fans want. We know this is the fan casting. We're going to give them this and then backhand them and say, but you can't have it. We know what you want, but you can't have it." I'm sorry. They will not get my money for this movie, period. They will not. No. I will not support that. And the fact that it's Pedro Pascal, I'm in every damn movie there is now, Pascal? No, not interested. Vanessa Kirby. I wonder if she got the role because of her name. Not that she's related to another famous Kirby, but it is a nice coincidence. Joseph Quinn and Eben Moss Bacharach as Ben Grimm the Thing. The Fantastic Four First Steps launched into theaters on July 25th, 2025 with high expectations. The film, marking the Fantastic Four's official entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe following Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox, grossed $118 million domestically over its 3-day opening weekend. This figure, while impressive and a massive improvement over the disastrous $25 million debut of 2015's Fantastic Four, was that Fanforstic? Yeah. Fell short of Superman's domestic opening of $125 million just 2 weeks earlier on July 11th, 2025. Domestically, there's no debate. Superman won the round, pulling in about 6% more ticket sales during its debut frame. Oh, thank you so much, Nate. I'm with you 1,000%, brother. Thank you so much. Yes, John Krasinski. That was his name. That's who I was trying to say. Yeah. Yes. Pascal just looks horribly typecast as Reed. He does not look the part, even if he did shave. Look, I weighed in on somebody who was talking about the shaving thing, refusing to shave. And they're like, well, there's precedent for it in the comics, and you guys know how I am about that. Cherry picking your comic book bona fides is a great way to get bitch slapped for a bad choice. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Whenever you see Reed Richards in the comics unshaven, that's code for he's losing his effing mind. He's on the edge. He's off kilter, right? Think of Tony Stark from Demon in a Bottle. He's unshaven because he's strung out and he's a drunk. And with Reed, the image that they showed, you know where that was from? It was from a what if. What if Sue had died during childbirth? That was the what if. Hint, at the end of the comic, he ends himself. Yeah, that's the example you want to use for why it's okay that Reed's unshaven. Look, you're an actor. You play the role. You dye your hair, you put in contacts, you shave or you grow a beard, whatever the role calls for. If you don't do that, you're not an actor. Get the hell out of Hollywood. The gap, though narrow, highlights the challenge Marvel faces in a post-Avengers Endgame landscape where audience fatigue with superhero fare has been a recurring concern. I also insist that it's not the hero fatigue that is the problem. It is the mediocre films that are a problem. They're spiraling because the movies have been unsatisfactory with poor word of mouth. Even this one, which gets decent word of mouth, is not getting like, woo, you got to see this. It's the best thing ever. And you got to see the next one. You got to see the one before it. People aren't doing that anymore. No, see, that's just it. Everything that I've heard about his role in this is he's, doing a perfectly fine Reed Richards. He's playing the role just fine. He is not that unhinged, unshaven, I can't cope Reed Richards of the What If Fair. So, yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Superman, helmed by James Gunn and featuring David Cornsweet in the iconic role, benefited from strong word of mouth and positive reviews, earning an A, would that be an A- cinema score from audiences, matching Fantastic Four's grade, but translating to slightly shorter initial turnout. Both films were critical for the studios. Fantastic Four set up key players for future Marvel events like Avengers Doomsday in late 2026, while Superman kicks off DC's reboot universe, paving the way for films like Supergirl next summer. By the way, I will say this too. Both films have end credits introducing the character for the next movie. Fantastic Four gives a kind of cameo appearance of a Doctor Doom, not played by Robert Downey Jr. because his back's to the camera and you don't see his face, so you know it's a stand-in. And there's no indication of who he is, why he's there, what he has to do with anything. Whereas Supergirl, in the very brief moments that you see her, you get enough dialogue to explain why she's there, what she's doing, where she's been, and give you a bit of a setup for the next movie. So there's another big difference. Not that I'm really keyed up about the setup for the new Supergirl movie. I'm just saying at least they crafted it in story that way. Turning to the global stage, the competition remains tight, but Superman appears to still edge out the victory, and neither one of them did well overseas. Neither one did. So that's not where you really want to be looking for your numbers anyway. Fantastic Four Missteps amassed an estimated $218 million worldwide in its opening weekend, combining its $118 million domestic haul with approximately $100 million from the international market. In comparison, Superman made $220 million globally during its debut, with $95 million coming from overseas territories. It's worth noting that early estimates for Superman's worldwide opening varied slightly, with some reports pegging it as $217 million before final tallies confirmed the higher figure. Regardless, the Man of Steel's performance has propelled it to a cumulative worldwide earning exceeding $500 million just weeks after release, a milestone that Fantastic Four will aim to chase in the coming months. They are starting from behind, though. Contextually, both movies arrived at a pivotal time for the genre. Coming off poorly received predecessors, Zack Snyder's divisive films for DC and the 2015 Fantastic Four flop for Marvel under the Fox banner, these reboots needed to deliver, and in many ways they have. Positive critical reception, both hovering around 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience enthusiasm suggests long legs at the box office. Yet, in this direct comparison, Fantastic Four couldn't quite stretch to Superman's heights. For movie theaters, the 1-2 punch of these superhero hits, alongside other summer successes like Jurassic World Rebirth, $148 million 5-day debut, and Lilo and Stitch's $1 billion worldwide, has provided much needed relief after a sluggish start to the year. F1 also joined Superman in crossing the $500 million mark this weekend. Still, Disney's live-action Lilo and Stitch remains the summer's undisputed champ, with its $146 million opening, outpacing both superhero outings. As the dust settles, DC can celebrate a win in this rivalry, but Marvel isn't far behind, with Fantastic Four's start set to return in major crossovers. The real test will be the longevity. For now, though, Superman stands tall as a superhero opening weekend box office king of July 2025. This is by Marvin Montanaro, by the way, a really nice guy. Met him down in Florida. He's good people. So, we are just past the 30-minute mark. Let me get the promos going. Let me refresh my drink and see what all of you are saying in the chat. Be right back in just under 3 minutes.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together. This week on Live from Sparkwood and 21, the David Lynch superfans lead us on a deep dive into the nightmarish and surreal spectacle that is David Lynch's Inland Empire, trying to help us tease out its deeper meaning. This Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
Has Avon gone mad? Having guided the Liberator to the man-made planet of Terminal with no explanation, he's teleported down, alone. Could this be the end at last? It certainly looks that way, as Servalan closes in and the Liberator begins to disintegrate. It's Terminal, this Tuesday on Last Call presents Blake 7 at 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern.
This week on Netters Network, join us for a very special celebration of the past 33 years. It's our wedding anniversary, this Thursday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, Demi Moore is Lieutenant Jordan, a topographic analyst who joins the U.S. Navy Special Warfare Group and struggles to prove her worth in a unit dominated by men. Failure is not an option for G.I. Jane. This week on Netters Network Retro Cinema, Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
Every Sunday evening, Aged Boomer and Pop Pacelli bring you the rundown of the week's geek news, or at least what they think is interesting. You may have heard about it somewhere else, but Boomer and Pacelli put a spin on it you likely won't hear anywhere else. It's Geeky Geezers, every Sunday evening at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
Rosefire says, meanwhile, Hollywood keeps erasing all the gingers. Yeah, good point. And then Joe says, cough, cough. Zendaya as MJ for some reason. Yeah, exactly. Zendaya on the female side and Pedro Pascal on the male side. A lot of people that are very sensitive, and I understand why. It's like an exposed nerve, the whole woke DEI, setup and whatnot. You tend to see it behind every branch and tree. And be that as it may, there's something else that's going on here too. And I think what happens is they contract with these actors, and they contract with them for ridiculous amounts of money, for ridiculous numbers of films, and then they have to make good on those contracts. So they start putting them in all these movies. And the biggest problem that you have with that is, we've seen it time and time again, either people don't like them to begin with, so they don't go to see their movies. They have the opposite effect. They're repellent to the audiences. Or you like them just fine, but you get sick and tired of them. It's like, are there no other actors in Hollywood? Everybody looks alike because they're all played by the same actors. So, what's the old saying from show business? Always leave them wanting more. Maybe make big stars commodities. Save them for the big punches instead of putting them into frickin' everything like kibble. Pedro Pascal is typecast. He's always the man fighting to save a child, and I can't imagine this guy being a father in real life under any circumstances. Yeah, I agree 100%. Oh, you are harvesting tomatoes. Tomatnanheim. Yes. MJ is always a redhead. I twitched to realize what they did there. Yeah, exactly. I honestly believe that a lot of these critics and mainstream YouTubers appraising the Fantastic Four, attacking people who were saying that the trailers didn't look good, like John Campbell. Look, again, I have my opinion. I had my opinions. I don't give a crap anymore. But the Krasinski snub was such a backhand to me, and I'm shocked that more fans are not seeing that for what it is. It really is, again, the studio saying, we don't care what you want. You're going to take what we give you and like it. And I think too many people are going, oh, yeah, that's good. Let me shovel more popcorn in my mouth, yes. Bad PR killed off any interest I had in Superman after Gunn. Yeah, we talked about that all. I gave that way too much attention. I really did. Because I was trying to be fair. I was trying to be fair to it. There's a reason I printed out the badge of 4 stoic virtues and have it posted by my workstation. There you go. There you go. Saying hi to each other. Okay. So I did want to get to another aspect, another article from that Park Place that I think flows, and it's also by Marvin Montanaro. I think it flows very logically from what we were just talking about. Fantastic Four box office dips 42% on Saturday, showing signs of frost loading and diminishing MCU momentum. So we ended that last article with, does this film have legs? We already established it didn't quite do as well as Superman. And Valiant Renegade always does a great job with numbers. And Culture Casino also had a video this morning talking about these numbers. You should really check them out. You can say that the numbers were really close, but what those numbers do is not so close. So, Superman had a bit of a weak first day. And throughout the weekend, it did a little bit better. It picked up a bit. As the word of mouth came out, concerns that people had were assuaged for some. And I heard of a lot of return viewers. And it had very little drop-off in its second week. Again, because of that word of mouth. A 42% drop-off on Saturday tells me that all of the fans who had bought early tickets showed up Thursday night and Friday. And now 42% drop-off is, this is what the walk-ins are doing. This is what do I want to watch today? You know, I'll go see Superman again. That's what's happening. The Access Media may be painting a rosy picture of Disney Marvel's new Fantastic Four movie, but the Saturday box office slide could be concerning for the House of Mouse. In a summer dominated by superhero spectacle, Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four First Steps arrived in theaters on July 25th amid high expectations for a franchise reboot. I do want to point out that, she really does look like Sue Richards. Earlier on in our cosplay days, Netter did a Sue Storm. Had a picture of her in that exact post too. Directed by, we've already covered that. However, early box office data reveals a mixed picture, a solid but underwhelming domestic opening marred by a sharp internal weekend decline, suggesting that initial fan enthusiasm may not translate to broader, sustained appeal. The Fantastic Four First Steps kicked off with a $24.4 million dollar from Thursday previews, the highest such figures of 2025, just edging out Superman's $22.5 million. This propelled Friday's total, including previews, to 57 million, marking the second biggest opening day of the year behind a Minecraft movie, $57.1 million. Initial projections hovered around 120 million to 125 million for the 3-day domestic weekend, with some insiders optimistic about surpassing Superman's 125 million debut. Yet, Saturday brought a reality check. Earning dipped to 33.2 million, a 42% drop from Friday's non-preview adjusted haul. This decline is notably steeper than the recent superhero comparables, such as Superman's 33% drop, Deadpool and Wolverine's 36% drop, Captain America Brave New World's 32% drop, and Thunderbolt's 22% drop. Sunday estimates came in at 27.8 million, a projected 16% ease from Saturday, pushing the domestic total to around 118 million, below the high end of forecasts and short of pre-release hype that pegged it at 125 million to 135 million. This front-loaded pattern, where opening day is inflated by diehard fans but subsequent days falter, highlights a potential erosion in casual audience turnout, something that once propelled Marvel's projects. As one analyst noted on X, the MCU has seen increasing front-loaded post-lockdown, with first steps representing a new peak in this trend, indicating brand fatigue among general viewers. Brand fatigue, I like that term. Brand fatigue more than superhero fatigue. It's not a genre fatigue. It's a Marvel Disney fatigue is what it really is. And I really do feel like fans want to like these movies. They're going to these movies saying, I want to enjoy this. I want, the hype that I had, with the old Marvel films. And they're not getting it, so they're not coming back. That's the problem. Rural and suburban areas, key for family-driven blockbusters, underperformed by 13%. And let's face it, families are where your audience is for a movie like this. While families comprise only 17% of the audience versus the 21% norm for PG-13 superhero films, the kids under 13 just 8%. Globally, the film is tracking towards 220 million to 230 million for its opening, with 49.2 million international through Friday. While Latin America and Europe showed some strength, Mexico led with 4.1 million, allowing the UK 2.8 million and France 2.7 million. Key market lagged. China, a traditional MCU powerhouse, disappointed with a mere 1.7 million on Saturday. How does catering to China work out for you, Disney? Just wondering. Looking at these numbers. And projections for the 4.5 million to 5 million opening there. Word of mouth in China is mixed, with a Daoban score of 6.2 out of 10, and some labeling it as the lowest Saturday ever for the MCU in the market, forecasting a 95% plus second week plunge. Holy crap. Yeah, forget about China, at least for this movie. Japan and Korea also face local competition, muting results. Overall, international projections sit at 100 million to 105 million for the weekend, but the soft performance in Asia raises red flags. I see what they did there. For long-term global legs. Compared to earlier 2025 MCU entries like Captain America, Brave New World, and Thunderbolts, First Step holds steady, but doesn't signal the breakout Marvel needed heading into the next Avengers film. On the surface, reception appears positive at A-, cinema score, 92% Rotten Tomatoes audience scores, and strong definitive recommends from older demographics of 35 plus. Guys over at that Park Place, I'd like to see you start adding critic lists to your numbers. I think that would give you a bit more rounded impression of critical values. Critics have praised the retro-futuristic vibe and fresh MCU entry point, with some calling it a mojo-restoring effort. IMAX and premium large format screens contributed 40% of the week's gross, showing its appeal to high-end viewers. Let me tell you something about IMAX. Most of the time that I see films on IMAX, it's because it's the theater that has a convenient time for me, and I'm willing to spend the $1 extra to go see it because I don't have time to wait another hour and a half before it starts in the regular theater. However, the weekend's internal drops contradicted this optimism. With a reported budget of $200 million to $250 million, First Steps needs to exceed $600 million to $650 million worldwide to break even theatrically. Current trajectories suggest a domestic finish around $300 million if legs weaken like recent MCU films. That's not good. Globally, projections range from $650 million to $770 million, but front-loading could cap it lower. Competition from holdovers like Superman and Jurassic World Rebirth diluted family attendance as well. If word of mouth doesn't reverse the trend, First Steps risks joining the ranks of post-2020 MCU's entries that started strong but faded fast. In summary, while the Fantastic Four First Steps secured a respectable opening and outperformed prior franchise attempts, the 42% Saturday slide and international softness point to declining interest beyond core fans. For Marvel, this signals the need for stronger casual engagement to sustain the MCU's once unassailable dominance. As the summer winds down, winds down, I believe that is, all eyes are on the film's second week to gauge if it can stretch its legs or if this is another stumbling block in the multiverse saga. I will say that any talk of previous shenanigans, hypothetically, allegedly, of buying out theaters is a thing of the past for a company that has become as insolvent as Disney has in recent years. Let's see here. Brand fatigue, yes, makes sense. Milking any franchise to death is exhausting. It's been over 10 years since the first Avengers ensemble film. A bigger problem with the longevity of these long-running franchises is a lack of planning, right? I don't care if you're talking about a long-running series of movies or a long-running television series. You've got to plan out your story. It's got to be going somewhere. If you don't do that, people lose interest, you know? And it was very clear after Endgame, they had no flogging clue where they were going from there. And so people lost interest and they left, you know? It's as though Hollywood says every fictional story needs a sequel, prequel, reboot, alternate universe. No wonder we're wary of AI indefinitely copying everything that ever existed. I am probably going to be talking more about AI and the potential use of it and abuse of it going forward on Friday for Last Call. Superman isn't that great of a movie. Fantastic Four at least has emotional scenes, and you feel the weight. In Superman, it's just childish screaming and crying with bad editing. Yeah, this was one of the things that Snarky J talked about with... She didn't make that comparison, but she talked about both movies separately and made those same observations. That Gunn had opportunities where he put some emotional things into Superman, but he never gave them the time to breathe so that you could get that emotional feeling. He always destroyed it with a joke, badly timed joke. He can't just, let you sniffle a little bit. There's got to be a joke that ruins it. So there is no emotional impact. Whereas what I've heard about Fantastic Four is there is a lot of really good, emotional storytelling there. Even if the details of the storytelling make very little sense with a lot of plot holes. And I do believe we are reaching genre fatigue. Elseworlds will be the future. If anyone has read Hickman's Spider-Man, it's godly, especially Peter and MJ. Same for DC's Absolute Universe. Yeah. I think that after the Snyderverse and the trend that we see over at DC, I think they get it. I think they get that people are sick and tired of the grim, dark, broody, Dark Knight Returns, boys, Hancock, superheroes. They want the old... That's why it went hard, Silver Age Superman comics. I'm sorry if you don't like the dog, but that is the pendulum swing that we get after, neck snap, screaming, muted colors Superman, Also, Evil Jor-El makes me nervous about Superman's future in the DCU. I know exactly where they're going with that, Joe. If you look at the past decade of comics, Jor-El survives Krypton. He kidnaps Jonathan, Superman's son, takes him away and abuses him, and ages him up. And this is where they're going. They're going with the modern comics, unfortunately. Fantastic Four. We'll see if it has legs. I question whether it does. I do think that people are getting a little tired of all that. And, I think it's time to move on from Marvel. Anyway, tonight, members of the channel, there's PJ of Orville Nation. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you around. So tonight, members, especially, I'm looking at you new members that joined last night. You guys, I hope you can join me tonight for Members Night at the Movies. I did not get a poll up this week, but because of a suggestion that I got from Big Al on Saturday, I thought it was a good one. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with Suburban Commando for tonight. Kind of a Hulk Hogan send-off this week, and we'll reevaluate what we want to do going forward. I'll talk with all you guys tonight about some thoughts that I've had about some of the films going forward, and just see what you guys think. Because let's face it, it's your stream. That is later tonight. You guys saw the promos. You guys know what's coming up. And yes, last call this week, I am thinking about talking a little bit more about AI in some very specific areas. I've seen some stuff online that tells me that the ability for fans to start making their own stuff using AI, it's there already. And Hollywood should take note and be very concerned. It's time that you start giving the fans what they want, or they will start making it themselves, and there's nothing they can do about it. So that is my musings for Monday. I want to thank all of you for coming out and hanging out with me and for supporting me in all the wonderful ways that you do. I'm wondering if there's somewhere that we can go after this. Midnight's Edge has been going for a while. I might be if I send you to them, I might be sending you into the end of their show. But they're also talking Fantastic Four. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that to you guys. You guys just go about your day, get back to work. Say hi to Sin, who just got here and said hi. Welcome, Sin. Good to see you. And, you know, if you guys do see Fantastic Four, let me know down in the comments what you thought of it. I'd be very interested to see. And thank you all for sharing your liquid lunch with me today. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.